The first thing I'm talking about Google's predictable content preferences. And the first thing I want to kind of open up and ask everyone is, who thinks that Google's perfect? Any hands? Good, because they're not. And that's what we're going to address today. So I want to tell you a story. I had an interesting story with a client of ours. So she was a medical professional, and she got roped in with this really odd situation. One of her patients came to her, and he was a celebrity, and he had done something stupid, and he had, I don't know, he got injured, but what he had done was illegal, and she treated him. Now, she was a nurse, or she was a doctor, and she should have treated him, but the problem is that she was also supposed to potentially have reported this. It wasn't clear exactly the situation. Either way, this person who's been a doctor for 10, 15 years at this point, all of a sudden, when you search for her online, every single result, everything you find about her is negative. It's all about this one blip on the radar, this one tiny little situation that happened to her. But that's not her story. That's not what her story's about. She's a doctor. She shouldn't be roped into some legal matters. Is this fair? You know, sometimes machines, robots, bots, spiders, they have to make decisions, and these decisions really just aren't fair. And what they're really doing more than anything else is they have to categorize you. When they look at you, when they look at a person, they have to fit you into some kind of box. So what the purpose of this entire talk is, I want to teach you how you can work with these robots, with these machines, and fit them into certain boxes. Fit yourself into certain boxes, fit your clients into certain boxes. So there's three things that I want to talk about on the agenda. The first thing is about information collection, how you take search results and you turn this into data. The second thing is how Google thinks in templates, which is potentially a new concept that I don't know if everyone's heard of. And the third thing are the opportunities that you have or your clients have when you realize that you're the outlier in these templates. So just a quick disclaimer, obviously I work in reputation and brand management, and there's a little bit of sensitivities when we talk about our clients, so we don't talk about any of them ever. So all the case studies and the data here, it's all real data, but for obvious reasons, I can't talk about who they are. So what does Google want? I think this is a question that I've been hearing actually a bunch of people talking about already. So in Larry Page's own words, he had said that the perfect search engine is something that understands exactly what you mean and gives you back exactly what you want. What this means is that when you type in Jaguar, you're going to get the car, not photos of the animal. This is straight off of Google's website. I literally just took this screenshot a month ago. Well, first of all, that's the car over there, but there's pictures of the animal there, and there's about the football team there. So they seem to be a little bit confused. The second thing is that intent, which is another thing that I'm hearing people talking about, intent is a little bit difficult to figure out. If you search for orange, you're going to get lots of different things. You're going to get the fruit, you're going to get the color, you're going to get internet, data mining companies, and you're even going to get TV shows showing up in the news because it says they're Orange County. That's a little bit crazy. Intent is difficult. And then, of course, if you're this guy, you have some really big problems. This guy, I looked it up. This was a GIF that was going around, and this guy's name is Peter Gusk. He's the store manager of some liquor store. I don't remember where. But it turns out, if you search for him, every single result for him is completely negative. Now again, this guy, I'm sure he's a great guy in his community. He's charitable, he's nice, people love him. But yet when you search for him online, nothing you see is good. It's all terrible. It's like really bad, and this is all that was there for him. I think this is a couple years old also. But it makes you kind of think that the search engines might be a little bit out to get you, that these robots that we're talking about, maybe they're pretty evil. is it fair that this is really happening? But I think, more than anything else, I think the question is Google really evil? Or are they just machines? See, there's a difference here, because machines are just machines. They don't have feelings. They don't emote. They don't know exactly. They may be learning how to emote, but they'll never be humans. They can never make decisions like us. There was a fascinating article I read. It was a Medium post by, the link's down here. And if you're in a self-driving car, that's a self-driving car. Self-driving cars, do they have the same ethics as us? Do they have the same emotions as us? When you're driving down the road, and if you're coming and you're about to get in an accident on the left or the right, you're going to have to make a choice. So is a self-driving car. Does it share the same ethics as us? If there's a school bus full of children in front of you and there's a kid riding a bicycle on the right, how do you choose? How do we choose? It's a tough decision. Imagine we're being forced to make those choices. Search engines are also going to be having to make those choices. And they have algorithms. These are what help them make these choices. They have really complex algorithms. And their choices come straight from these. And they're not always perfect. And that's where I think reputation management comes in. We try to align ourselves with these algorithms, and we try to think beyond just our client sites. We look at everything to make sure that what's showing up for a client is telling their story, it's sharing their messaging, and it's working with their brand. So this is a typical search result. And when you're dealing with SEO, you're dealing with hundreds, thousands of keywords, trying to get them to rank for products, for various things. But that's really what SEO is. SEO is about getting sites to rank for lots of different sites to improve sales, to make sure that your products are as visible as possible and you're getting the biggest revenue share. Reputation management is everything else. That's how we like to think of it. We're dealing with branded keywords. We're dealing with very smaller sets of keywords, but they're highly branded and they're very much about who they are and what their story is. And these are queries specifically, more than anything else. These are queries that lack intent. They don't have the same kind of intent that you do when you say, I need to buy a set of golf clubs, or what's the best kind of soccer ball out there on the market? I'm looking for a bike helmet. So what we do is we work with the algorithms as much as possible. We're not fighting them. In reputation management, there's two ways to do reputation management. You can either completely spam out the search engines, or you can actually work with the search engines. We don't fight them. The way that we do this is we start with information collection. So if you're looking at a Google search result, you type in a query, and a bunch of information shows up. That information right there, that's not data. There's no data there. That means that Google has decided that for whatever reason, this is important information to show. They reach into their library, they grab it, and then they show it to you. And that's it. There's nothing there. But what we realized is that when we look at a search result, there's little bits of data that you can apply to every single piece of information. There's sentiment. You can mark something positive or negative. You can start to get a better understanding of what's showing up in the result. If you compare this over 2 days, you might actually learn that some days there's more negative, some days more positive. If you compare it to a week, you might say on Wednesday there's a news box every Wednesday consistently. This starts to become very interesting information. The problem is that when you start to do it over 2 weeks, months, years, it becomes a little bit overwhelming and basically a little bit unmanageable. So that's how we created the impact dashboard. This is something that we use internally. We've been using it for the past 5 years. And as Hannah mentioned, we're launching it in alpha right now. And what it does is it captures the search results for branded queries every single day, and it puts them into this dashboard. And with this dashboard, we can start to monitor how things are changing, how things are moving around, when positive results come in, when negative results leave. And we can do tremendous amounts of research like this by making comparisons for peer sets, for groups, for locations, across the spectrum.